Alright, so this is the last day of the weekend, and been in Mammoth Springs all week, or all weekend. Today, I am at Grand Gulf State Park before I head home. This is 6.5 miles north of Mammoth Springs in Missouri, and the Grand Gulf is a 3/4 of a mile long, well, it's much longer than that, cave system, but it's 3/4 of a mile of cave system that's collapsed, thought to have been about 10,000 years ago. But it reveals part of an underground, karst system, and it reveals part of an underground water system. And this is part of the feed to Mammoth Springs. Water that fills up here comes out in Mammoth Springs, 7.5 miles away from us. But it came up here. I was going to make it part of my Mammoth Spring video, but I feel like it's just going to stand alone on its own, and I'm just going to make it its own video. So, hence this intro for the video. It was established as a national natural landmark in 1971. It's got some dramatic views, I'm given to understand. We're about to find out. A little bit in the way of a hiking trail to get around and take a look at everything. So I'm going to check that out today, and we're going to try to squeeze a video out of this dude. That's way down there. This is just really cool, though, overall, geologically speaking. Like, how cool is that? A freaking 3/4 of a mile gulf that was created by a cave system collapsing. And all this water that ends up in the bottom of this works its way into the water table, congeals into a main channel eventually, and ends up coming out in Mammoth Spring, which you saw, in the Spring River, which you saw in detail in the last video. Okay, so working my way down the trail, the interpretive trail. But one thing I've noticed so far, the trail is pretty well used, easy to walk so far, and it's well marked with blue blazes. Now, what I want to tell you is, if you're coming out here, stick to the blue blazes, because that is the trail. There's a ton of little trails that shoot off of the main trail. Like, they look like you should probably go down that trail. And they kind of descend down into the Gulf. And what I found out is they don't actually go anywhere unless you're being super adventurous, which I don't have time for today. And it's late July. It's way overgrown. And I got a 4.5 hour drive ahead of me after this, so I'm not going down into the Gulf today. But just for your information, if you're coming out here, stick to the blue blazes. The offshoots don't take you anywhere and might get you into a situation or two. There is no railing, and it's a big drop. All right, here's a little bit of an overview down in. Like, it's so grown up, you can't even really see down in there from this vantage point. But you can see there's a cave down there, that little black dot. You can kind of see into the Gulf from here. We're going to go on down the trail a little bit further to see if there's any other views, and then we'll work our way back up and take the other leg of the trail. It's very pretty and remote. But you know me. That's how I like it. Okay, so yeah, the overlook on the Red Blaze Trail. That's pretty impressive. That's way down there. Alright, so I've worked my way down the Red Blaze Trail. Very short trail. It's got a really nice deck overlook built over here. It's newer construction. I think something's happened to the old deck. Definitely doesn't match the rest of the woodwork on this system. Yeah, look at this. This is cool. Get down in here a little bit closer, get a look at everything. It says there's a wet weather waterfall back here in this corner over here, and I can hear water running back there, but it's not coming out. Definitely not through here at all. It's dry as a bone, I'm to assume, given the nature of the geology of the area. And this is all about underground caves and water systems. It disappears underground back there somewhere. This is very, very cool. I'm given to understand when I was reading online, now don't quote me on this, I don't want anyone getting in any trouble, but that there are trails where you can venture down into Grand Gulf here, also known as the Little Grand Canyon of Missouri. That you can get down into this gulf and kind of explore. And I'm pretty sure I felt like I read that in the flyer or on the Missouri State Park's website, which made me believe it wasn't prohibited to do, which is kind of surprising. So I'm not sure about that. It would require more research, I believe. But it would be cool to come here in winter when there's less threat of critters and a lot less foliage, when everything's died off and you could really see. So that's something to take into consideration. All in all, though, like, this is a really cool state park in Missouri. It's free to enter, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's got a couple of cool little hikes in it. It's got a couple of cool little views, and yeah, it's totally worth the checking out. If you're within a couple hours driving distance, I think you should do it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for today for me, because there's not much more here to see. So if you like the videos, please like, please subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
We here at Studio 119 would like to remind all of you out there listening, wherever you might be, that though the hill might be steep and the trail be rocky, the mountaintop awaits. Carry on.